Hey everybody, welcome back to the farm. So, if you've been following along, you know that I took the young 3-year-old team, Gene and Grace, up to Ohio 2 months ago to work with the weavers up there. And then I had Becky and Jewel still here. So tomorrow I am heading up to Ohio to pick the young team up. I'm super excited, I can't wait to get up there. I talked with Steven last week. They've been up there. They started them out on the sled and then they put them on a wagon. They've been on the manure spreader. They've been on the plow. They've been in a 4-hitch. They've just kind of been using them for all kinds of stuff. They're starting to get ready to harvest hay, so there's a possibility they may be on a sickle mower this week. I'm not real sure. We'll find out when we get up there. So an update on Becky and Jewel. If you remember from a couple of videos ago, I said that I was going to sell them because I needed to focus my energy on the 3-year-old team and that they were a short-term team, and that played out exactly how I said it was going to. So they ended up going to a guy up in North Georgia about 2 hours from here. He came down about 5 days ago with his wife and his son, and they picked him up and took him home. The good news is that he knew the horses, or he knew Becky. He is friends with the same Amish guy that I'm friends with in Ohio. He had driven Becky before up there at Progress Days in Ohio when it was in Ohio. And he was just excited to get her. So, like I said, they came down last Saturday, which was about 5 days ago, picked them up and carried them home. They got home and got them settled in, and he's got a beautiful place up there from the pictures I've seen. So they're going to do real well up there. He's excited to have them. His wife's excited. I think his son's probably excited as well. So I'll be able to see him whenever I want. We may even be able to get together and do some driving together since we're so close. So they have gone up there, and I am going to get the young girls tomorrow. I'll stay on the ground one day, and then I'll bring them home the next day. So it's going to be a 3-day trip, so it's going to be pretty quick. I've also gotten a new wagon. I haven't picked it up yet. I'm picking it up next weekend, Mother's Day weekend. It is in North Carolina, but it is a people hauler wagon. If you've seen the videos of my blue wagon, it's more of a farm style wagon, and you really can't, you got to be able to climb up over the side to get in. And if I wanted to take my dad with me, for instance, he wouldn't be able to get in. And if you had a child that needed assistance, you wouldn't be able to pick him up and set him over the side kind of deal. So this wagon that I'm getting is got 2 steps going up in the back, and then it's got benches down the side. And so it's called the People Mover, and it'll haul 14 adults in the back, plus the driver and the co-driver. So 16 people total. So it's a big wagon. It's a Roberts wagon, so it doesn't have the best paint quality. It's a solid wagon, and it needs a little bit of touch up, but I'm excited to get it. So it's going to come in handy in the fall for festivals and doing that type of stuff. I've gotten the stalls ready. I've gotten all new shavings down on the ground here. I've cleaned their areas out. The spiders moved in here in the 2 months the girls have been gone. The girls' stalls are clean over here, and I've been working out on the pastures. I groomed everything. I spread all the manure. I washed out the water troughs. Just got everything manicured so that when the girls come home, they'll just be able to slip right back into their routine. Let me show you what I've done out here. Barnyard's all cleaned up. I did not cut the front pasture yet because I sprayed it, and I want the grazon to stay out there for about a week and work on those weeds before I cut it. But paddock 2 out here is all cleaned up and groomed. Paddock 3. Hayfield's looking great back there. When I was out here bush hogging, there was a lot of manure that I hadn't spread yet. So what I ended up doing was just hooking the manure spreader to the back of the bush hog. And then I was cutting and spreading manure in one pass. I spread the remainder of the hay out underneath the pole barn, and Jewel and Becky enjoyed sleeping there their last day here. Water troughs have been cleaned and disinfected, just waiting to refill. Brand new mineral licks in 1, 2, and 3. And then one of the girls' favorite spots underneath the Leland cypresses, which I affectionately call the chapel. I love it underneath there. So we are ready, I think, on the farm to receive the girls back here. And I'm sure they're going to be excited to get back after being up there working for the last 2 months. I think they probably got up there and they said, what the crap's going on? We didn't sign on for this. And they've been working up there every other day. Steven said they've done great since day one. So looking forward to getting them back. So we will see you up in Ohio. Welcome to Ohio. So it's about 5:30 right now. I got up here at about 4 o'clock, got checked into the hotel, got some dinner, and came on over here. Their farm, the Weaver's farm, is behind me over here. Here, it's right here. And Steven is out here with my mares. He's out there planting corn. So they had 13 horses out here today. I have not yet talked to Steven, but they had 13 horses out here today finishing plowing this field. And now Steven is running my 2 mares planting corn out there. So I'm excited to get up on them and see them. And we will see how they're doing. They have got a bunch of mares over there on the fence line, but that is the neighbor's farm. I thought that was their draft, but their drafts must be down in the farm. They've got a huge dairy operation over there. We're going to go over there and check that out. I'll get all of that and show you all of that. But Aiden, Steven's father, told me that he had just come out of the field at 5 o'clock, and then him and Mama were headed over to the granddaughter's house to eat dinner. Or supper, as they call it here. And Steven is staying out here working till the sun goes down, getting this corn planted, and then they'll finish getting it planted tomorrow. So I'm going to get some video of the girls driving. Now that I'm over here, I can actually see it. So this is the unplanted right here. And then if you look, you can see where Steven has been going up and down planting the corn. So he's planted probably, I don't know, a third of this field. Some girls are putting in a day's work. Pretty interesting. He's coming up, turning, and then going back down the next row. Coming up, turning, going down the next row. Coming up, turning, going down the next row, and they're all pretty dadgum symmetrical. These guys are unbelievable teamsters. You can see how straight his rows are that he's planting. How straight the rows are that they plowed. There's the neighbor's horses. Looks like there's 6 over there, so that's why I think they have 8 here on their farm. The girls are just steady getting after it, so that is awesome. So while we're waiting on Steven to get up here with the girls, I'll tell you a quick story. I don't want to video him coming up because I don't want to get his face, but his children were all across the street playing at the cattle farm, and they had a pony harnessed and hooked to a little wagon, and they saw me pull in, and they all went scurrying like little scared kittens, you know. And they ran down, rode the pony down here on the cart, and told their daddy that I was here. Well, one boy, one of Steven's boys stayed up, and he, you know, they don't learn to speak English until they get into the first grade. So this boy's probably in second grade or so. And he came up and said, he saw me putting my shavings in the trailer. And he said, we already have you one bag of shavings. And I said, yeah, I saw that. I appreciate that. So I threw the 2 bags in there. This boy's probably 8 years old. They mucked my trailer out while I didn't have an opportunity to muck it. So they mucked it, those little boys. But anyway, the little boy asked me, he said, do you want me to put those shavings in here? I said, well, I can put them in there tomorrow. If you can put them in there if you want. And he whipped out his pocket knife and slit those shaving bags open and spread that shaving all in there. And that trailer is all dressed now. And he policed up the bags and took them to the garbage. And I said, thank you, buddy. And he said, yep, and walked off. I mean, these kids, they start working early. They don't do video games or anything. So it was pretty neat to see. They just really enjoy all pitching in. They enjoy playing, but they enjoy pitching in and, you know, and helping out around the farm. So his planter here, he's got corn up in the front hopper, and then he's got fertilizer in the back hopper. So it's dropping both in the same hole. So this guide right here that's dragging the ground is leaving a trail. And that's all it's doing, is leaving a trail. And when he turns around down there at the other end, he will put Gene, who's on the right, on this trail. And it will space the rows out perfectly. And if you see, Gene is walking on it. Well, I'm in the barn now. I'm with all of Steven's children, but I can't show them to you. But they brought me down to show me their sow, who had 21 piglets this morning. And they've got another sow across the street that's got 12 with her. So this is a barn they keep the buggy horses in. You can see their tie stalls and their feed troughs are very similar to mine, with their grain bin and then their hay. I did not mirror mine after theirs, but they all seem to be this way. And one of their buggy horses is here. You got a tack closet over here, and then some more tack hanging up. And then one of their other buggy horses is here.
This one
and they
got a colt.
Oh, she's got a colt. Oh, she just had a little colt. I didn't even realize it. So this little guy is 2 weeks old.
Yes.
And then they've got 2 dogs out here. And these are the 2 dogs that, well, this one, and I got a barn cat right there, but this dog here, and they've got another one that looks very similar. But these are the 2 dogs that were out here the night that we got the girls off of the trailer. They raise these milk calves. They got a farmer that milks them. He brings them down here after they've been weaned. And then the weavers raise them till they're about 13 months old. And then they send them back to the farmer. So they got their hands in everything. The schoolhouse is right there. So the kids just have to go. They have to go from just right across the street over there to the schoolhouse right there. And the bathroom is in the back. And that's their softball field. Here's the other 12 piglets. Mama just walked out over there. She'll be back in just a second, but there are 12 little piglets there. They're a lot quieter than those other ones that were just born. They remind me of the little piglet in Charlotte's Web, Wilbur. She's over here trying to get water. So up on the hill is the other half of the dairy cows that they're raising for that farmer. They were actually here in March when I got here. But look at this girl right here. She is grabbing this trough and flipping that thing. Now she's not going to do it. Oh, she just wanted to spill some water so she could lay in it. But she was grabbing it with her mouth. And this fence right here, I leaned back against it and it kissed me. I don't know how many volts are going through it. But again, I can't show you the children, but I can show you Marvin's arm. Marvin, grab a hold of that fence right there, would you? Grab that fence, Marvin. That's a brave little boy right there. Cows are coming in off the pasture. The children told me that they get fed silage and grain in the morning and in the evening. So they've already been fed for the evening, but for some reason they're coming back down. But there's a mixture of cows. Looks like there's some dairy cows and some Guernseys and some regular beef cattle, but it looks like the majority of them are dairy cattle. All right, it's daybreak the next morning. They worked till about 8:30 last night, put them in the stalls, watered them, fed them, and they are going to harness them up here in just a few minutes and take them back out and finish planting that cornfield. He said it was going to take about 2 to 3 hours, and then he was going to bring them back to the barn and let them rest for the rest of the day and get ready for their journey home tomorrow. So we will get them harnessed up and get going.
Yes. Our vet says he's the one that introduced it to horses.
Is that right?
So I don't know. He is probably, I don't know.
Grace, Gene.
Whoa.
You want to watch them a little bit hooking. Sometimes they'll start walking off a little bit. So just make sure you got the lines at least closed. It's even good to, you know, hang them over your arm or something. So, Aiden, put me a bag of fertilizer in each hopper.
Right
over,
here.
over by the machine. Ooh. 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 I got G, raise.
So this is the barn that the girls wouldn't come into that night. We got them off the trailer over there where the dairy cattle were in the pouring down rain. Tried to walk them down this road right here, or this driveway. They stopped, and then when we got them here, it was pitch black dark and the horses were inside whinnying. So this is the old barn up here, and this is the newer addition here. That's their corn crib. You see they've got the upper part with hay in it, and they can throw the hay down from upstairs directly down into the stalls. But the girls have been living in these box stalls since day 2, the morning of day 2. So they're on pasture when they're not working. But so there's Grace, there's Miss Jean, and then this is a local horse that's getting ready, and then this is another local horse that's getting ready. They just got here. And then inside their barn, they got all these tie stalls. The neat thing I like about their tie stalls is you can get behind the horses here to brush them and harness them and do that. But you can go through this alley right here. It's kind of like Raymond's. And you can get in front of them to feed them. Which I like that a lot. And then they've got some box stalls over here. And here's the door from upstairs where they can open that up and drop the hay down from upstairs. And here's their tack room. You can see how this barn has got all this natural lighting in it, where this barn having the upper barn above it, there's no way you can get daylight in it, so it stays pretty dark down here. Aiden was telling me that this original barn here, the original structure, was built in 1885. There's one of the doors going to the upstairs. They redid the walls and the outside in 95. And then they built this new portion over here in 22. So this is just fresh. The upper hay barn. A big hay wagon here on a Pioneer running gear. Couple of hay rakes. They probably hook these in tandem side by side. And what's left of their feed hay over there, you can see it was stacked all the way up. And then over here is their bedding hay. This is lesser quality hay. They use this for the bedding. It's just loose, and it goes all the way up over there, and it's up on top as well. Just a huge, massive barn. The oats that they're growing across the street is called spets. It must be a northern oat because I've never heard of it. They get the seed head off of it, make the oats, and then they make the rest of it into the hay that they use for the bedding, and they like it better than wheat straw because it's more absorbent. This is spets right here. It does not have a seed head on it yet, but once it gets a seed head on it, they'll come through and harvest the seed head, and then they'll come and chop all this down and make all this into bedding. He said they've been farming this for about 20 years. There's Mama out there with her piglets. They all saw me and took off running back to her. They were down there. Half of them are actually on this side of the fence and the other half are on the other side. I guess they ran under the fence at the creek, and the ones on the other side of the fence are trying to figure out how to get over here. Mama's just happy in the corner eating that long grass. Here's two of their sleds they use for braking and other things. Everything they got is pretty much Pioneer or on a Pioneer gear. But unfortunately, Pioneer is no longer. And then they've got a manure spreader parked over here. This is a Master Equipment manure spreader. Everything's 2-horse. See the one-room schoolhouse a little bit better with the bathroom behind it. Got the bell up on top. And then when I was saying their softball field is right here. It's what they do every morning before school, every evening after school. Love their softball. White horse plow they were using yesterday. Not sure how big that bottom plow is, but it's pretty big. Really nice rig though. Their 4-cart. You notice all their carts have metal wheels because they're not allowed to have rubber. But I have never seen this implement seat like this. It's like a full-on tractor implement seat. Normally they're just an old-timey tractor seat like was on that white horse plow over there. I'm in the upper barn on the other side of the farm. Got some kind of a mill here sitting on this concrete pad, and they're chopping it all up and making some kind of feed. I don't know if this is corn or if it's a mixture of oats and corn or what. I'm not real sure, but looks like they're loading it all up. What is it, buddy?
That is pig food.
It's what?
Pig food.
Pig food. Oh, okay. I got you. So they're chopping all this up and making it into pig food.
We use corn, a little bit of spelt and oats and soybeans.
Corn and oats and
Soybeans.
soybeans. Okay.
And I don't know, and this stuff. I don't know what this is. Probably stays somewhere.
Minerals. Just minerals. Okay. And then they've got another plow here. Got a harvester of some sort there. Another manure spreader. Another 4-cart. And then here's another corn crib here. Runs on the back side of the barn. Corn cribs everywhere. So that's the field out there that Steven's been planting the corn in. You can see him right there waiting on the Pony Express to come in and bring more fertilizer. What those little boys do is they ride that little pony in that wagon from the shop area here. Up there to their dad to resupply. And then Aiden is heading out up there with a 3-hitch to go plow. And here's the children's little pony wagon. 3-year-old pony. And then they're running the fertilizer out there to their dad. We're back down in the horse barn now, and I didn't get to see, but Aiden brought all the horses in. So they're all in their tie stalls eating their food. He's got those 3 horses out there on the hill plowing. And then he's gonna harness up a team here, and he is going to take them out and replace my girls at 10 o'clock. Then my girls will rest for the rest of the day. Now this girl is doing exactly what Jewel does. She's throwing her foot up into the feed trough to scratch her legs. Only difference is their feed troughs are a lot higher. There's their big gray Percheron. He's the one that they use to break all the horses. 2 of the 3 horses that Aiden has up on the hill are grays as well. But this guy's really starting to get his dapples. This is when they're worth a ton of money because this is the look that everybody wants. You can see this one having a gray tail. Gray up on top. And her muzzle's kind of gray, but you see she's still extremely dark. And this is the way they're born, extremely dark. And then they dapple, and they get absolutely stunning, and then they turn snow white. So when you see the white Percherons, they're actually grays. And then the black ones, they stay black with a reddish hue to them. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out in the field. 12, and then they've got these 2 that belong to a local farmer that I was showing you yesterday. These dogs are just wherever you are. They get into everything. But you saw the girls, they were running all around the girls when they were driving up the street, and the girls didn't care anything about them. A truck drove past the girls as well up there, and the girls didn't even balk, but I didn't get that on camera. So the field that Aiden is plowing is right up there. You can see where the plow marks are, and he's coming across the top of the hill with that 3-hitch. The 2 horses on the left are gray Percherons, and then the right one's a black one, but he'll plow up there for about an hour and then come back down, swap the team out with Steven. Right now we're in the hay barn, the upper hay barn above the dairy cattle. It's another huge barn. Hay up there, here. So they have got, I think I've counted 8 number 9 sickle mowers. And what they do is they buy them over at the auction at Mount Hope. They'll rebuild them. They'll use them for a little while and then they'll sell them. Look at all the oats in here. I've never seen bulk oat storage like this. A whole nother room in there full of it. Goes downstairs to the hay drop. Gotta be careful walking up here. You just walk right through here. This is a bunch of corn silage here. And that's downstairs, but they're not in here right now. They're outside. What's interesting is this entire, we were walking on an entire wooden floor up here, up above the barn downstairs. And apparently at one time they had a basketball goal up and they played basketball in here. Here's a sprayer that they were using. Got a Honda powered motor on it to power that pump. And they let the booms down. Another corn crib. And they got a walking plow. 2 more mowers outside. Got a cultipacker here. It's got a 5 hitch on it. Round bale carrier. They hook this to the back of the forecart. Take the round bales out to the cattle. Dry cow lot. And that's where we just were, upstairs up there. And then this is where they put the silage out here on the ground in the evenings and in the mornings. The cattle just stick their head through here and eat. I have huge admiration and respect for people that farm full-time for a living. This is a hard day's work, day in and day out. And it's really a 7-day-a-week job. It is not a part-time job, and it is not a during the week only job. You know, if you don't get up and get out here and get after it, it doesn't get done. And the work ethic that their children have is just mind-blowing to me. When you're talking to the 8-year-old and the 7-year-old, I mean, you would think you were talking to a 22-year-old in our world. I mean, they are just sharp as a tack. The 8-year-old and the 7-year-old, they came walking out of the woods this morning shortly after I got here. And I was like, where have you guys been? And they said, oh, we went down in the woods and checked our trap lines. They got traps down there trapping groundhogs. And they got up and took their guns down there and exterminating groundhogs that they had caught in their traps down there. Little kids walking around with guns and knives and stuff, and it's totally natural. And the thing is, they're responsible. You know, they're not little thugs. Super respectful. They helped me get the oats, the hay, the water, everything ready for the trailer in the morning. And they grabbed I was putting some hay in the hay bags, and little 7-year-old came over and said, I'll hold that bag for you. And he was holding it open while I was putting the flakes in there. And then when I filled up the water jugs, little 8-year-old grabbed a hold of that 5-gallon water jug and toted that thing about 200 feet back over to my trailer. I didn't even ask him. I mean, these little kids are just something else. They're just super mature for their age. They've got real world smarts and not book smarts. They learn just the basics in school, and they only go to school to the 8th grade. And once 8th grade schooling's over, they're done. But they learn the basics: math, English, history, and just a little bit of history, enough to get by. As far as street smarts and real world smarts, I mean, they're on their A game. Super impressive. I have not ever gotten to spend any time with Amish children, and they're just super impressive. All right, so Aiden has just brought this team here to replace Gene and Grace, and Gene and Grace are gonna head back down to the barn and rest for the rest of the day and get ready for the ride home. They didn't do too bad walking past the car. Aiden's just gonna take them back down there and get them unharnessed, and their time here is done. All right, guys, so that's gonna do it for this week's video. We are gonna come back tomorrow morning, load the girls up, hopefully be on the road no later than 7. Take us about 12 hours to get home, barring that we don't have any issues, which I'm praying that we don't. But we will see you back in Georgia next week. And as always, remember who you are. Be kind to those around you. Stand up for what you believe in.